to Commander Cookout Podcast.
Podcast?
What the hell am I talking about?
Podcasts. What?
Here, listen to Commander Cookout Podcast, episode 255. I'm Brando. I'm here with Ryan, and today we're going to continue our adventure in the Forgotten Realms by talking about the rest of the set. Now, hit our theme song! Hey, Ryan. We're back for yet another whirlwind adventure. How you doing?
Good. What is going down?
Whole ton is going down. We're recording on another strange day, so we got some interesting lighting as the sun sets on another sun-scorched day here in Saskatchewan, Canada, shining through the forest fire smoke as the northern part of our province is not all the way on fire, but pretty close.
Yeah, I was just looking directly at the sun, and it barely hurts my eyes.
Yeah, it's getting pretty Silent Hill up in this bitch. And we got some people to thank, stories to tell, a bunch of cards to talk about. Before we get to any of that, we have to thank our official business daddies, FusionGamingOnline.com. They're a source for all your Dungeons & Dragons and gaming needs.
Very much so. They do actually have dice there, like sets of dice. They do have them. You can order them.
Ooh.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, speaking of ordering, get this.
Awesome.
Yeah. CCO Fusion 5 promo code to get you 5% off.
Oh, shit.
As if you didn't know that if you're a longtime Nationalite. But I do have Forgotten Realms packs on order. They're in the mail.
Ooh.
Yeah, boosties, sets, set boosties, collecty boosties, regular boosties.
Wow.
Commander products. I wasn't going to buy any of it, but then when I seen like kind of
How fucking awesome they are.
well, I don't know. I think the Monster Manual cards are pretty cool. We're going to talk about those. I got notes to talk about those for sure today. And I do think that what was the other thing that I liked? I don't know. There's a couple cards that I want. And of course, you'll be able to find them on our Facebook page when I paint them, right? But
every Thursday on our Facebook page.
There it is. The point is I've got the booster packs on order for the pre-show guessing game. If you guessed from yesterday's pre-show, we're getting right into business here. What's the card?
The Flumph.
The Flumph. Now, is that a D&D thing?
Yes.
It's like a farting jellyfish with eyes?
It's a little jellyfish thing that lives in the Underdark. That's the area of Faerun or Toril that's under the ground.
You could.
And it's a little like psionic jellyfish, and it goes around and it like sort of takes in the thoughts of all of the things around it. And if it meets somebody who it thinks is like a good dude, good person hanging around in the Underdark, it'll like tell them things. About like, hey, there's a hook horror over here. There's an Umber Hulk over here. There's a bunch of illithids down this way. You should not go that way.
And if it doesn't like you?
And if it doesn't like you, it doesn't tell you any of that stuff. And if you try and like grab it or do anything kind of bad to it, like, Flump, tell me some shit, it'll fart on you.
And that's what it's doing in the art.
And that's what it's doing in the art.
Oh, very good.
That orc's like, yo, Flump, tell me some shit. And the orc's like, no, fuck you, and farts right in his face and
zoomed out. Meow.
Flies away, yeah.
Okay, very cool.
Yeah.
Well, if you guessed that, you're in to win next week's giveaway pack, which by that time I'll probably have the Forgotten Realms packs in the stinky onion bag. No guarantee you'll get one of those because I mix them all up with a big spoon, but maybe you'll get one. Who knows? Anyways, last week's winner gave us some stuff that they're excited about regarding what they were going to build, what they weren't going to build, what the
flavors they liked.
Yeah. Last week's winner, get at us, commandercookout@gmail.com, Carl Webb.
Oh, like the book. What, the spider?
Oh. Charlotte.
Oh.
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
But yes.
You're right.
Like the book.
Okay.
Carl, get at us. Let us know where to send your stinky old pack. Other business, because we got to fly through it. Our editor, Joe Mama's going to beat our ass for making another 2-hour show or whatever. We've got some patrons to thank.
Let's do it.
Patreon.com/CCO Podcast. Lots of great benefits. You get your name in the credits of our top 5 in 5s every second week.
We made one of those just before we came up here.
Yes, in the Forgotten Realms.
Oh, my God.
Not to detract from our thank yous, but that is one of the benefits is one of the tiers or 2 of the tiers actually get your name in those credits. So we'd like to thank you by putting your name on our video content. You can help us contribute to some of the content that we make, decks and all that kind of stuff on our Discord, which is a lot of fun. Get your finger blasts going. Right?
They're pretty good. I like that part.
You ever finger blast anybody? Like on the Discord, I mean.
Of course I have. I have the gummy bear giving the finger gift.
Oh, you got the gummy bear one?
Oh yeah, I got a couple of spicy meatballs that I throw in there from time to time.
There's lots of wrestling gifts, hey?
Oh yeah. Our Discord is cool.
Yeah. I asked you that question. You gave me the look. Everybody who wasn't watching on YouTube, which you
Probably should because you're fucking listening to us anyway.
yes. Would have seen the face that kind of Brando gave me there. It was funny.
I interpreted that question differently than you meant it.
That happens lots. Lots and lots and lots. Big thanks to all the new YouTube subs, by the way. I guess Brando yelling at people does work
It's
a little
working.
bit. Peer humiliation is the quickest way to teach somebody something.
Oh.
I was taught that at an old workplace one time.
Huh.
Very toxic environment.
Yeah, I feel like I'm glad you don't work there anymore.
Me too. Me too. The patron thank yous. First shout out, thank you, benefit, FU, whatever it is.
Benefit.
This is Ford Perro. Like Ford.
Like the car?
Yeah, he told me that's his name.
Like I could go to a dealership and buy a Ford Pharaoh right now?
Ford Perro.
Ford Perro. Yeah.
That's like a 3-cylinder motor with like 3 tires.
Wait,
2 in the back, 1 in the front.
is that not a make or model of car? I feel like it is.
No.
Are you sure? Like
No, but it should be. Okay, we got to do something a little
Ford
bit more
Ferrero.
A Ferrero is a thing, yeah.
Yeah,
No,
like
a Fiero. A Fiero.
Fiero. Is it a Ford?
I think so.
You know what else kind of sounds like Ford? Fork.
Fork Fiero.
Yeah.
How about Flump Fiero? And then he can be
Oh, a little farting jellyfish.
a little
I like
farty
that.
jellyfish.
All right, I'm into it.
Yeah,
Flump Fiero.
Flump Fiero. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the.
That was a twisting adventure. That was an Underdark journey we went on.
Yes, we journeyed into Flump Fiero's Underdark. I hope he shaves.
Don't Google it.
No, definitely not.
No.
Next one, I didn't tell you this name. I
Okay.
didn't tell you this name just to get the reaction. This is
Okay.
Matt Moorhead. Well, that seems pretty easy, but to get Moorhead is actually harder than one would think, especially when you're married.
What? Mm-hmm. Oh,
Yeah.
I wouldn't know about that.
Yeah. Matt Moorhead. I don't know if that needs a nickname, but
What about Maximum Moorhead?
Maximum Head.
I like Maximum Moorhead.
Maximum Moorhead?
Yeah, I like that.
I like
Yeah.
must be married getting must not be married getting Moorhead.
Oh man.
How about dictate Moorhead?
What? You're just bringing in words that you've thought of.
Well, what do you always say when we read Dictate of Erebos?
Dictaste. That's how you say it.
Well, Mr. Moorhead, whichever combination of any of those nicknames you like.
Be our guest and welcome to the nation.
Very much so.
F you for being here also.
Yeah. Not very often do we get one that's that easy that we don't come to a...
Well, yeah, we don't have to really do anything with that.
Yeah, really. What we do have to
We
do.
just call him Sean Stasiak.
Sean Stasiak. No, I like anything to do with Moorhead.
Okay.
What we do have to do.
Oh.
We do have to talk a little bit about our giveaway.
Oh, yeah.
Our Secret Lair Valentine's Day with the Heliod. You can get it by following us on any of the socials and liking, subscribing, retweeting, sharing on Facebook, all that stuff. Do that. You're gonna want to be subscribed to all the CCO socials in the month of August, where not only are we kicking off a new Secret Lair giveaway,
Oh, shit.
yeah, but we're also kicking off a new thing with all that stuff that we've been showing you. You know the thing. Remember?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
I do. I forgot for a second, but then Ryan gave me the look, and you would have seen that look if you're fucking watching us on YouTube because you listen to us anyway. And now I remember.
Yeah. And we did get the revisions back. They look great, and stuff like this just takes a long time, everybody, so bear with us. The other thing we have to do, talk about Forgotten Realms.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
It's very exciting.
We usually, because we are wont to do, we usually look at things like the showcase frames,
And we're going to do that.
in which case we've got, you called them Monster Manual showcase frames?
Yeah.
You like these? You don't like these?
Oh, I super like that.
Like top 5?
Yeah.
Top 3?
Nah.
No?
No, top five though for sure.
Okay, top 5. These are, I guess D&D came out like in the 70s, right?
Yeah.
And these would be like the black and white old school monster manuals like they were printed back then.
Yeah, they're meant to look like, let's say you found like an old book, like old, like not crumply paper, but like old worn kind of coffee aged paper.
Like a tomb.
Yeah, exactly. And it'd
Or
have like all the stuff in old ink quill lettering on it. That's what they're kind of meant to look. And then they put a splash of color on the back so you can tell what the color identity of the card is.
I very much appreciate that.
But I like those. I haven't seen one in foil yet, but I bet they're going to look cool.
Yeah.
I have a feeling that they're going to look cool. And none of them are etched, so I have a feeling they're going to look cool.
Yeah. Okay, so that's one of the showcase treatments.
Yeah.
And you like those.
Like them a lot. I will be collecting one of each in foil.
To make a monster manual.
Yeah.
Right?
I even have a binder all set up for it already. I'm very excited for this one.
Okay,
This
cool.
is going to be cool.
That one is going to be cool.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for the Pokemon fucking crossover, and you can get the Pokedex showcase where it looks like the Pokemon is in the Pokedex, and everybody can make a Pokedex.
I hate you.
Yeah. Alter Pro and all them retailers like that'll be cashing in so they can do their co-branding magic and Pokemon binders and shit, eh?
I hate that. I hate everything about what you just said.
The other showcase frame is like a campaign manual cover.
Yeah.
From the 70s, right?
For the lands, yeah.
Yeah.
Those are really... Those ones
you're right. It is only the lands, isn't it?
Yep. And those ones I have seen in foil, and they are cool.
And you like those ones too?
They look really cool. I like those as well. Not for everybody. I get I've seen a few people saying, "Oh, this isn't really my thing. I don't really like them," but because they look nothing like a Magic card.
The solid color background, I think, of books of that vintage, could be off-putting. Mm-hmm. The center justified text and they do look like a book cover. Yeah. That's what they look like.
That's what they are.
Yeah. I actually like them, not only because they do look like something familiar, like you're opening something up that is familiar, but the art that is actually featured on them, as it would be on the book cover, looks really cool. It's good art.
They're just cool little collector's items, and they're cards that you don't have to get in that treatment. So... cool.
Yeah. Just like any other showcase frame. You either like it or you don't like it or you're indifferent, and you can get whichever version that you want.
Yeah.
And if you don't like it and you don't want to spend $30 on a booster pack, just buy regular packs.
Yeah.
And that's
I think that all of the special stuff except for the extended art rares are actually in
Reggie boosters?
I actually read this one. So
we don't got the spreadsheet in front of us.
But I don't have the spreadsheet right now. But I think that you can get the showcases, the sketches, and...
You're usually my go-to guy for that.
Oh, I said sketches. I'm rattled now. I'm rattled now.
You're usually my go-to guy where I say, where do I get this? And you say, oh, yeah, it's in collector boosters, set boosters, and whatever.
Because they changed it up a little bit. I think it's just the extended art rares that you get in... They're only exclusive to the collector boosters this time around. I think set boosters and draft boosters. You can correct me if I'm wrong down in the comments, but I'm pretty sure that you're not going to get left out in the cold if you don't buy collector boosters this time.
You can get the cool...
Yeah,
you can get the showcase frames in set boosters.
Yeah.
And if you want the extended art ones, you got to go collecty.
Yeah, but if you want the no art, the no border ones, like the planeswalkers and the dragons, I think those are available in regular boosters too.
Oh.
So, cool.
Yeah,
basically all of the special frames except for you can get them wherever.
Ones,
so it's cool, man. So if you're looking to just collect cool ass art from this set, this is the set for you, baby.
There it is. Okay,
it's cool. Glowing endorsement from me.
And you like them?
I like all of them.
Okay, good. That's a far that's a 180-degree turnabout
from Modern Horizons 2, where I hated all of it.
Okay, cool. Now, before we get to cards, because I don't have very many cards that I want to talk about, but I want to pick your brain on a bunch of them, or I want you to just kind of broadcast a bunch that you like.
Oh my God.
This is what I'll be keeping an eye and ear out for as I'm scrolling through what you're scrolling through is
All right.
interesting tropes. I think we've got them.
Oh yeah.
We've got tropes where the card aligns with the D&D theme, flavor, mechanic, art, flavor text. Mm-hmm. You think that WotC did a good job porting over the ambiance of D&D into Magic?
I sure do. I think that they did a great job of taking Dungeons & Dragons and distilling it down like the basic essence of it and sticking it on a Magic card. I think if you are a Dungeons and Dragons player, you could look at the card and even have an enhanced understanding of how the card works based on your knowledge of Dungeons and Dragons, even if you know nothing about Magic.
It's like a garlic press.
Yeah,
putting it right through there. You're just getting flavor.
Yeah, you're getting something out of it. Like, it actually does add something, not just flavor, but also like a streamlined understanding or explanation point for somebody like us who knows the game to explain it to maybe somebody who doesn't, but they do know Dungeons and Dragons a little bit. So
and that's the point, right?
I think that's cool. Yeah, it's an easy teaching tool as well, which I
do like that. If something is going to make it easier to teach, I do like that. Couple other things we're looking for. Well, we talked about showcase cards.
Yeah, we did.
Characters. I don't know if we're going to run into any more characters.
No, they're all... Well, wait, we should probably mention them now. We missed a couple of legendaries yesterday. They were spoiled while we were recording the show. I said Wolfgar didn't get a card. He did. He's Panharmonicon for on-attack abilities. Not too bad. And there was a blue one. I don't care what it does.
Yeah, it's like a squid. It's like a squid or something, isn't it?
Joe might put it on the screen if he's not still too mad at us. You can read it for yourself, but we're not... Yeah. Moving along. Ooh, we got asked a question about the party mechanic not making a return, because we were also on the thing. Yeah, it's going to come back. It's going to be a thing. And I'm not going to lie to anybody out there. I'm not going to lie to Ryan or myself. I am happy as hell that the party mechanic did not make a comeback, because that mechanic is stupid and I hated it. And I hated it then. I hate it now. And I'm really glad that they didn't bring it back into this set to wreck up something that I was so excited about.
Yeah, everybody was wrong about that. Everybody thought it was going to come back, and I was indifferent then, and I'm indifferent now. What else is new? Okay. I'm looking at the notes. Terrible TV. Let's just get to cards.
Let's do it.
Where do you want to start?
Well, the more things change, the more they stay the same. We'll start at the top in white alphabetically. We'll go down. We'll talk about some cool stuff as we go along. Do we want to give a quick nod to the card that's already been banned online?
The Book of Exalted Deeds?
Yes.
You put an indestructible counter on an angel, and the land that is every creature type from Kaldheim is an angel, and then it stops being a creature, and then you can't lose the game.
And nobody plays land destruction, I guess, so...
No. Or it's not available in standard.
Now, are we going to see that in Paper Magic? Are we going to see? Is this something that we're going to see happen?
Well,
at an EDH table going near you?
FU Alex did ask on our personal friend group Facebook page, "Hey, if I do this and do this," and I'm like, "Oh fuck, here it comes. Is it indestructible and you can't kill it and I can't lose?" Yes. Yes. Or sorry, it's not indestructible, but people just have to play like Strip Mine or Tech Edge or what's another one? Ghost Quarter, Wasteland, right?
Should we read the card?
Sure. Book of Exalted Deeds. Legendary artifact. White is what it costs. At the beginning of your end step, if you gain 3 or more life this turn, create a 3/3 angel creature token with flying. Who cares about that part? Okay. White, tap, exile Book of Exalted Deeds, put an enlightened counter on target angel. It gains, you can't lose the game and your opponents can't win the game. Activate only as a sorcery. So you pay 3, sack it after you've animated your Mutavault, let's say, that is every creature type, and it makes it so you can't lose. It becomes Platinum Angel. That's the card. Once it stops being a creature at the end of turn, it retains that counter, and now Doomblades and Terminates and stuff like that don't kill it. So you have to have a land destruction spell to kill it.
It's a good thing I play those.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, you guys were all like, "Oh, Brando, you're a bad guy." Well, who's laughing now?
Well, here's the thing. I thought of this grand scheme to just like pound anybody who plays land destruction into the dirt and make mono green the best color in EDH, because nobody's punishing land ramp and everybody hates on green and packs all the hate for green, all the hate for green, all the hate for green. Boom. I'm going to play all this fucking sweet stuff. This Book of Exalted Deeds and Mutavault and then Terra Eternal to make all my shit indestructible. Yeah, fucking guys.
We'll see how it goes.
You know what? It's going to be land stacks. You know what I'm going to call it? I'm going to call it lax. Because I'm going to relax, and you guys are all going to shit your pants like you took a bunch of X-Lax. Yeah, that's what's going to happen.
I'm into it. And no, you're right, I'm into it.
Okay.
I'm fine with that.
Okay, we're not going to talk about the class cards today because they are covered exclusively on other people's content, including our own. If you tune into this Friday's Top 5 and 5. Actually, it's next Friday's Top 5 and 5. But
suffice it to say that we enjoy them. We like them.
Yes.
And I'm really happy that they're here. And if you haven't taken a really good, close look at them, I highly advise that you do so. Encourage you to do that because they're really cool.
Yep. The Cleric one, I think, is good. The Druid one lets you play extra lands. The Boros one lets you tutor and equipment, which is really good.
Yeah.
And equip for free or equip for reduced by 1?
Reduced by 1 or 2. Yeah. We'll get to that in due course.
It's fine. But you know what? I'm just going to skim through. What do you think about like +2 Mace? That's just such a weird card name, hey?
+2 Mace would be people who play Dungeons & Dragons know that. People who play Magic won't know what that is. And you know what? Nor should they, because the card is so kind of just generic. Nobody's ever going to play that.
No. It's just an interesting kind of thing.
It's an interesting... One card I do want to talk about. We're talking about flavor. We're talking about stuff. I want to talk about Grand Master of Flowers.
Oh, I was hoping you were going to talk about the card next to it.
We can talk about that one in a second. But Grand Master of Flowers. Here's why I'm kind of disappointed in this card.
Sure.
Last week we talked about that creature that should have been a Planeswalker but wasn't.
Okay.
Well, Grand Master of Flowers is, believe it or not, Tiamat's brother.
Oh.
Bahamut, however you say it, owned by Dungeons & Dragons / classic mythology long before Final Fantasy got a hold of him. So that's a thing. He is the god of all the metallic, or air quotes, goodly dragons. He's the platinum dragon. He usually walks around disguised as an old man with his 7 gold dragon companions who disguise themselves as canaries. Are you looking at it?
Yes.
And they all give him news from all around the world, and he goes around and, like, he's that kindly old hermit on the side of the road that'll, like, help you out a little bit. And then later on you find out, holy fuck, a god just helped me tie my shoe or fix my wagon wheel or something. And that's who Bahamut is. But the Grand Master of Flowers is the head of a monk order that, as near as I know, or have ever been told or have read in the Dungeons & Dragons books, which I assume are canon, is an old man named Grandmaster Kane, who is not Bahamut.
Oh.
Nor is he this random douche guy with frosted tips.
Oh, yeah, he's a good-looking dude.
So I feel like just the art was so good, and they put this douche on it.
This dude, yeah, he's like, he wants to like go and do yag bombs at fucking the bar,
right? Like, I don't know. I just like, you could have seen Magic the Gathering's version of Bahamut, who's super popular in all sorts of circles.
Well, this guy looks popular.
Well, yeah, he looks popular at high school because he can do yag bombs
at frat parties.
Like, what the card does is immaterial to. It's a good card.
It's fine. I'm not even gonna read it.
But like, I thought that it was kind of a miss. That they could have given us Bahamut and they didn't.
Well, that's why we have you.
That's
let me flip it around for you. Let me flip it for you.
Sure.
What I do recognize in this set is a bunch of really low to the ground creatures that give us ETB advantage to the tune of draw cards or search for lands.
Yes.
We've got Guardian of Faith. That is a phase in, phase out. It's like Tef's protection for like creatures you control, right?
Yeah, it's like mini Tef's protection.
Yeah.
I kind of dig that card.
Yep, that's a gooder. We have got, just to kind of continue the whatever, we've got Dawnbringer Cleric, which lets you naturalize or gain a life or whatever, or graveyard hate somebody on ETB. Mm-hmm. We have got Loyal Warhound, which is what is it? It was originally from Alara. Sigil, Orchid, White Orchid,
Knight of the White Orchid.
There. We've got that one that searches for a land. Now it's a dog because dog, right?
It's a cool dog. I like that art. It's like a war dog with a saddle.
We got Portable Hole. Don't Google that. Potion of Healing, which should have been like gain 10 life, not 3, but at ETB's draw card. Priest of the Ancient Lore, ETB's draw card. There's all these ETB draw card type things, which I think is promising because they're trying to find where ETB or white draw card fits. It's a promising kind of step in the right direction.
Why is it a dwarf and why is it white? Like, dwarves are red.
But dwarves are also white in Magic.
No, they're not. They shouldn't be. That's stupid.
Well, yeah, but they are.
They should all be red. All of them. Every single one of them.
You think that everything should be red.
You're right. No, ETB. Here's a card I actually think is really cool, and it's probably going to also result in a bunch of just miserable board states. We're going to talk about it anyway. It's Teleportation Circle.
I was just going to call it, yeah.
Enchantment for white 3. At the beginning of your end step, exile up to one target artifact or creature you control, then return it to the battlefield under its owner's control.
Well,
that's cool.
That's just Conjurer's Closet, but in white for 4 mana.
It's cool.
Yes?
Yeah.
I think that white is kind of the blinky, tappy color along with blue. I think that that's a space that they can share.
Yeah.
And if you've got ETB draw a card on white creatures now, well, fuck, go at it.
And we do.
Yes.
We talked about them.
Yes, we do. Okay, on to blue, so Editor Joe doesn't kill us. So he doesn't tap us down or put us in a dungeon or whatever things he's into.
Or use his black staff to animate a giant statue to kick our asses, because that is what the Black Staff of Waterdeep does.
Yes, animate walking statue is its ability word.
It's a legendary artifact for blue. You may choose not to untap it during your untap step. It has animate walking statue for blue 1 tap. Another target non-token artifact you control becomes a 4/4 artifact creature for as long as it remains tapped. Activate only as a sorcery.
Very cool.
Very neat. And again, flavor-wise, it's an artifact from the City of Splendors, Waterdeep, one of the most famous cities in the Forgotten Realms. It was used to control these great big colossi or whatever, giant statues and stuff in the city, that if somebody attacked the city and the militia wasn't enough, they'd animate these great big statues to fight off the invading armies or demons or dragons or whatever. That's why nobody ever fucks with Waterdeep, because they'll...
Like on Harry Potter.
Shut up. You get out of here right now.
It's raining on everything.
God, you're
man.
such a... Oh, you're a bad friend. Right?
I know, I'm terrible.
People are excited about Demi-Lich.
Yeah,
Do you like the Demi-Lich?
This is what I imagine and what I remember from video games.
Okay.
I'm walking through a dungeon and all of a sudden there's like a floating sword or like a floating skull or a big square blob of goo.
Yeah.
I'm bang on, right?
Yeah, all 3 of those things represented on cards in this set.
Yes. Okay. Demi-Lich costs blue less for each instant or sorcery you've cast this turn. It's a skeleton wizard. I like the skeleton creature type, by the way. 4/3 for blue, 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 blue. You could cast this for free if you've cast 4 other instants and sorceries.
Impossible, can't be done.
Okay. Challenge accepted. When it attacks, exile up to 1 target instant or sorcery card from your graveyard. Copy it. You may cast the copy, which is cool. Yeah, cast the copy. There, you got it. You may cast Demi-Lich from your graveyard by exiling 4 instants or sorcery cards from your graveyard in addition to paying its other costs.
That's neat. That's a neat card.
Which would include blue, 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 unless you've cast 4 instants and sorceries, and then you exile all of them, and Demigod or Demi-Lich is in your graveyard.
Neat.
Cool.
I think that's a cool card.
There
I like that one.
Shout out to the art on Displacer Beast.
Yeah, I remember last week we talked about Displacer Beast. I explained to you what a Displacer Beast was. There it is.
We do, and you know, in the past, maybe not on the show, but I've been critical of digital art just because I don't know how to do it and I'm scared of it.
Sure. It's a big man to admit when you're scared, man. That's true.
Yeah, that's it. Without digital art, we wouldn't get a piece like that.
Truth.
Because that is just the card, the image isolated, the subject of the image isolated, and then just blurred right and left. Looks really good.
You know what I think that should have done? I think it should have countered the first instant or sorcery that targeted at each turn. I think that's what it should have done instead of having bounce. Just for the flavor of what a Displacer Beast is.
Oh, yeah. It bounces itself so you can't get it, right?
Yeah,
Even I understand that. What's your next card? You got a card?
Yes. The worst decision ever made by any D&D party or any group of people in a horror movie in Split the Party.
Give it a read.
You never split the party. And here's why. Blue, blue 3. Choose target player. Return half the creatures they controlled to their hand.
Round it up, that is.
Yeah. Flavor text? Don't split the party.
Don't. Don't play this card, I think, because it's a sorcery.
If it was an instant, it'd be way cooler.
Oh, baby, would that be good? Yeah. You know what? Lots of dice rolling in blue.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, right. Should we find one, or does it matter? I don't know.
We'll get to those in a bit. I also do want to point out and give a shout out to our boy Lenny. F.U. Lenny wrote the blue section of the Forgotten Realms set review on edhrec.com. He's one of their he's writing for them now. And he, like me, thinks that Tasha's Hideous Laughter, while kind of an interesting card, isn't going to be nearly the powerhouse that people seem to think it's going to be.
Two things. It's about goddamn time they've got some people of fucking taste and intelligence over there on EDHREC.com.
Yeah, you're goddamn right. Yeah, I like that.
That's one.
Yeah, buddy.
Number 2, Tasha's Hideous Laughter. I actually like that card, and it was going to be my last blue card before we go on to black. Blue, 1, sorcery. Each opponent exiles cards from the top of their library until that player has exiled cards with total mana value 20.
Neat.
That's like Mil Nauseam. Just made that up.
Good. That's good. That's clever. I like that.
Mil Nauseam 20.
Yeah.
Right? Okay. I think in the ever-quickening and efficiency racing format that is Commandy, I think that's going to probably get you 20 cards.
I think this is one of those cards that it kind of scales in its effectiveness, but the kind of deck that it's going to go in is probably going to be a mill deck, and nobody's going to play a mill deck at a highly optimized CDH table.
Yeah. That's so funny. It's like it's very ironic that this is what this card does.
Yeah.
It gets better when you're playing against better decks, but the deck that it goes in
gets way worse.
Is the worst type of deck.
Yeah.
Well, it's like WotC knew what they were doing, which is one of my notes. WotC knew what they were doing, and they didn't give us the opportunity to break some of the cards in here. They did. I think you mentioned it a little bit at the start of the show or on the pre-show about the power level.
Yeah.
This is occupying a core set slot.
So it's very stable. They definitely are selling this on flavor and not power.
Yeah, I think that's fine. We don't all need to be Throne of Eldraines and what have you. Let's move to black.
Book of Vile Darkness.
B of VD.
I think that lots of people are going to pick this up and the artifacts that go with it. We'll talk about them later in the show, so put an asterisk on this card. This is black for a legendary artifact at the beginning of your end step. If you lost 2 or more life this turn, create a 2/2 black zombie creature token. It also has tap, exile it, and artifacts you control named Eye of Vecna and Hand of Vecna. Create Vecna, a legendary 8/8 black zombie god creature token with indestructible. It gains all the triggered abilities of the exiled cards. I think that's the new, what was it from original Mirrodin? There was that angel that you could make if you had all of her equipment. Cauldra.
Yeah.
So I think lots of people are going to be trying the challenge of assembling this particular literal Voltron.
I think that's cool. What I don't like is all these cards are rares. And it kind of makes me feel bad when there's a bunch of shitty cards at rarities that I don't want to open them at. Anyways, I've got Eye and Hand of Vecna up. They're both legendary artifacts. They're both rare. Eye of Vecna, 2-drop legendary artifact, enters the battlefield, draw a card and lose 2 life. At the beginning of your upkeep, you may pay 2. If you do, draw a card and lose 2 life. Sure. Draw a card, lose life. Sure. Hand of Vecna, 3-drop legendary artifact equipment. At the beginning of combat, I just thought of something funny. At the beginning of combat on your turn, equipped creature you control named Vecna gets +X/+X. What the fuck does this card do? Equipped creature or a creature you control named Vecna gets +X/+X, where X is the number of cards in your hand. Cool. You draw cards, you lose life. Your equipped creature gets bigger. Equip, pay 1 life for each card in your hand. Or pay 2.
Sure.
What I thought of that is funny. This is just a severed hand. And can you imagine? You pull out of your scabbard just this fucking severed hand and you just start whacking people with it. I almost said wanking people with it. Maybe you start wanking people with a severed hand.
Yeah, don't Google that at all.
No, I feel like you go to For Lovers Only and you find this hand there. It's just a fist.
So you've got like a hand you're using as a club, and you've got an eyeball with the little stalk on it, and you're using it as a mace, you're spinning it around, running into battle. Oh, man. Because you don't have the book yet, so you're not sure what to do. But yeah, I think that's pretty cool. I think that's a worthy EDH include, and I'm happy that they did it. And I'm looking forward to seeing people try to assemble Vecna.
Yeah, sure. I've got a real card. This is Deadly Dispute. As an additional cost to cast the spell, you sack a creature or an artifact. It's black 1, and then it says draw 2 cards and create a treasure token. This lets you sack an artifact or a creature. It gives you 1 of the mana back on layaway, and it's essentially Village Rites but better, which I think is great.
I guess that's fine. I'm going to hit you with a flavor card here real quick.
Do it.
Drider. Doesn't matter what he is or where he comes from. It's an elf spider. You see that? Now, the art's got to be on the screen, and if you don't know what a Drider is, you should look it up. Because I want you to imagine this. Let's do a body horror moment, okay?
Sure.
I want you to imagine
I
this.
have those every morning when I wake up.
Me too. You do something totally bad that like is an affront to your god, who is Lolth, who we'll talk about in a second. And they get really mad at you, and to punish you while you're awake and with no anesthetic at all, they give you a potion that splits your legs, all of them into 4 different pieces like spider legs, and then turn into spider legs, and then your ass grows really huge so that you're a spider, and then you spend your entire rest of your life, because you're like kind of immortal now because you're an elf and you live for 1,000 years, feeling that pain all the time, and you only get to not feel it when you're doing what whoever turns you into a spider tells you to do. Isn't that is fucked up, man?
Yeah, what if what they tell you to do takes a long time? As long as you're on the quest of doing that thing, you're okay?
Then you're okay, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Even if you're like sleeping or eating?
No.
Oh.
No, you don't sleep or eat. You like suck blood and live in a cave.
Do spider stuff.
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh, yeah.
I don't want to do spider
Man.
stuff.
Driders like, ugh. It makes my kneecaps hurt just thinking about it.
Yeah, my kneecaps hurt all the time. We're fucking old. Lolth, Spider Queen. Let's do it. This is Lolth, Legendary Planeswalker, black, 3. Loyalty 4. Whenever a creature you control dies, put a loyalty counter on Lolth, Spider Queen. Oh, yeah. So like infinite times with Gravecrawler? Got it.
Got there.
But 0, draw a card and lose a life. Sure. That's fine. -3, put 2/1/1 black, 2/1 black spider creature tokens with menace onto the battlefield.
And reach.
Oh, and reach.
And
Yeah,
they're spiders.
Yeah, reach arounders. Good. -8, you get an emblem with whenever an opponent is dealt combat damage by 1 or more creatures you control, if that player lost less than 8 life this turn, they lose life equal to the difference. Now, if we can give them multiple emblems because we can infinite loyalty Lolth, it doesn't actually do anything.
Right.
Yeah, WotC fucking knew. They knew.
Yeah, they knew. And I think that this is not a impressive planeswalker, so to speak, but I think it's a neat planeswalker.
Yeah.
The emblem is cool. It's one of those ones that upgrades your little dinky shitbag creatures in case you're in one of those situations where you've got a bunch of 2/1s that you can get in with them because they have menace, but like that's all you have. At least now you're still doing considerable amounts of work in the game.
Is there anything that is like sacrifice a planeswalker, get benefit equal to its loyalty?
Not yet.
No. Well, maybe this is the one because you can go infinite with her pretty easy.
Yeah. Or at least for loyalty. You get infinite loyalty on her anyway.
Yeah. What should we move on to red? Red was the color that I was a little bit excited for.
One more card.
Sure.
Just one. I like Sphere of Annihilation. What do you think of Sphere of Annihilation?
Oh, yeah, I like this card.
That's
I
a
forgot
cool
about
card.
this one.
Black X for an artifact. Enters the battlefield with X void counters on it. At the beginning of your upkeep, exile Void of Annihilation. All creatures and all planeswalkers with mana value equal to or less than the number of counters on it from play and from graveyards.
Gets it. Now, it's at the beginning of your upkeep, so you got to wait.
Yeah.
But you're going to shut everybody's game off for a turn, right?
Yeah.
Which I think is fine. And cool name, cool art. Yeah, I like it.
It's like a Nev's disc that
You got to pay for.
Well, you got to pay for it, and I think it's less scary because it's coming. It's like there's this sphere. I know what it's going to get. I'm not afraid to play the game now because they're not going to rattlesnake me with this Nev's disc.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Like, so,
And if you can get something in above it, then you're okay.
Yeah.
And I think that's how you play it as the player of
It.
Sphere of Annihilation. Yeah.
So I appreciate Sphere of Annihilation for what it is. I think it's going to be a cool foil, and I'm glad it exists as a card.
Yeah, there you go. There's
red stuff.
Yeah, I was going to say go ahead because there's only exactly 3 cards in red that I'm even interested in.
There's 40 cards in red that I'm interested in, but we're going to save it for another episode later on in the arc.
Ah, yes.
Because there's a mechanic that I am outrageously excited about, and lots of cards in red that have it. That's a teaser for what we're going to do, but we'll talk about those later. I'll leave those on the back burner as a tease. What's your first card, Ryan?
Critical Hit, which is a D&D term, right?
Yep.
A crit. Now, another D&D term, natural 20, a nat 20.
Nat 20.
Why does that need to be put on the card? I understand that it's a term, and I understand there's modifiers, pluses or minuses, and there's a thing called a natural 20. It's the number that the die says that you rolled. I get all that. Why does it need to be on a Magic card?
Because there are cards that will make your die roll add up to 20 because like you add the number of cards in your hand or the number of creatures
there
you
is.
control.
You're right.
Some of those cards do exist.
Just like in D&D, those are the modifiers. And I forgot about those cards.
They're rare, but I think you had to have that qualifier on there just
again to teach the D&D players that just like in D&D, there is modifiers to whatever you roll.
Precisely.
Okay, critical hit, instant, red, 1. Target creature gains D strike. That is double strike until end of turn.
That is you don't usually see double strike on an instant.
No, and you do on, there's a card from like Dissension or something, but it's got to be target multicolored creature gets double strike. And it goes in Calamax, and Calamax is multicolored, but I can't target my vehicles with it. Dinosaurs and trains, right?
Yeah.
Tap Calamax, make them into a train driver, give my train double strike. Now I can.
There we go.
Critical hit.
Now we're talking.
That's it.
Are you going to have dice rolling cards so you can get it back?
And well, here's the thing. Whenever you roll a natural 20, return critical hit from your graveyard to your hand. I don't think that there's any dice rolling cards that go into Calamax, though there is dice rolling cards that on certain rolls let me copy spells, right? Or copy them again or cast them for 1 or for free or whatever, right?
Yeah.
So those cards could go in Calamax and they would benefit critical hit. So it is worth a look.
Neat.
Yeah, I think that I'm the one that is unique to that exact scenario because I don't know how many dinosaurs in trains Calamax decks there are.
There's at least one.
Yeah,
and now there's a card just for that.
Just for me.
And that's cool, right?
Yes.
That's how that feels, Ryan.
How about Hobgoblin Bandit Lord? Is that one just for you?
No. I like this card, but I'm not all the way over the moon about it.
Give it a read.
Hobgoblin Bandit Lord is a 2/3 goblin rogue for red, 1. Other goblins you control get +1/+1, and it has red. Tap, it deals damage equal to the number of goblins that entered the battlefield under your control this turn to anything. So it goes in Krenko and just wrecks somebody's whole ass, or it could go in Muxus and wreck somebody's whole day. But my Muxus deck doesn't need it, and I don't have Krenko anymore, so I don't know where I'd put it.
Krenko's not hipster enough for you.
Well, he just lives in Muxus now.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like a backup.
That's right.
Yeah.
And I just don't think I need Hobgoblin Bandit Lord in that particular deck. I think he's cool as hell, and this is an amazing card, and when I do eventually build another Goblin deck, you better god dang believe that this sucker's going to be all the way in there.
Yeah.
But, alas, here we are.
You know what? I got one here, and I know like there's Plundering Barbarian is really good, and there's another one that I want to talk about that's really good, but I want to talk about next, Red Dragon. Red Dragon. This is a 4/4 for red 4, flying. Fire Breath. Yeah, Fire Breath. Burping after eating Taco Bell or something. When Red Dragon enters the battlefield, it deals 4 damage to each opponent, which is fine when you get it for free off of your Dragon's approaches. And I just want to continually just deal damage. Like, and my dragons that are in there already are the Null Spine Dragon, which lets me fill my hand back up to do more Dragon's approaches. Niv Mizzet 3, which lets me deal damage and draw cards into more Dragon's approaches.
Right.
Velamok is Lorehold, which lets me dig when he enters the battlefield and can attack because he has haste.
Right.
He lets me dig down to more Dragon's approaches. And now this guy doesn't let me dig or do anything fancy, just comes in and just domes everybody.
Cool.
Yeah, just keep doing damage.
He's got improved Flame Rift attached to him.
Yes.
It's pretty neat.
Yeah. What's your red card? Because I got one more.
I like Meteor Swarm.
Meteor Swarm. Is that a D&D term?
No, it's a spell. It's like a high-level mage spell, I believe.
That's what I mean. Is it a thing that you can read in a D&D book?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I've never cast it because I never played caster characters. I was always a rogue. But the magic card version of it seems pretty cool.
Give her a read.
Red X, I should say. Meteor Swarm deals 8 damage divided as you choose among 8 target creatures and or planeswalkers.
Divided among X target creatures or planeswalkers.
X will be 1, and that 1 will be Brash Taunter.
So then you can do it to anything.
That's right.
Instead of creature or planeswalker, it's Brash Taunter, and then it's player.
That's right. Yes. So I like that card very much. The art is cool.
I do like the art, yeah. I got one more red card.
Tell me.
Ready to fucking speed run? ready to speed run some fucking dungeons?
Yes.
Kick in the door. All right. Sorcery for red. Put a +1 counter on target creature. Zadahedron Grinder.
Yes.
Radiate it to every single other creature I control. Let's say there's 15 of them.
'Kay.
Because that's a number.
Yep.
That could be. That creature gains haste until end of turn. So now all my creatures have +1 in haste, which is actually a win condition in and of itself.
It's pretty good.
Because it's like, oh, I got 15 guys. Yeah, now I got 30 power.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. They all gain haste until end of turn. They can't be blocked by walls. Don't care. Venture into a dungeon. Venture into 15 dungeons, baby. And I got dungeons right up in front of me here. The shortest dungeon is Tomb of Annihilation, but we're not doing that one.
No.
We are probably going to do Lost Mine of Phandelver. Am I saying that right?
Yep.
Okay. So there's 4 rooms.
Okay.
So I can do each room like, let's say 4 times, 3 or 4
3
times.
4 times.
Yeah. And that's scry 1, create a goblin, +1 on something, but I would actually drain my opponents.
Yeah.
And then draw a card. Scry 1, create a treasure, drain my opponents, draw a card. Scry 1, create a treasure, drain my opponents, draw a card. And I'm drawing into more rituals and more Zada pump spells. And I'm creating treasure tokens so I can cast them for fucking free. And I'm draining my opponent. So if I do draw down to Treasonous Ogre, I just do my whole deck.
Dang.
Yeah. Like, can you imagine Past in Flames fucking kick
in the door?
Kick in the door. You do it again. Or you get down to your Aetherflux Reservoir, and because I've been draining my opponents with the Dark Pool Room. Speed run. Oh, that's great. You know what? I think it's worth mentioning for anybody who's like, oh, venture into a dungeon, they tack on like 1 or 2 mana per spell or whatever, and it's like, it's not even good. Well, venture into a dungeon, what it actually means, even if you only have 1 venture into a dungeon card in your entire deck, venture into the dungeon means whatever the spell does, plus gain a life, or scry 1, or each player loses 1 life.
Cool.
Because that's the first room of each dungeon. When you venture in, you just do that.
Yeah, it's an added effect onto a spell. It's neat.
For 1 mana, like, I don't know, scry 1's probably worth 1 mana. The other 2 fucking probably aren't.
Yeah, but you never know. Gives you
Yeah.
options, right?
Yeah, that's fine. Moving on. Sorry, I took a long time there because that's like the card I'm most excited about.
Oh, yeah. Hey, man, that's the shit
Fucking
that you're excited about.
one
That's what we wanna
stupid common that just lets me do some stupid thing. Anyways.
hear. There's a guy that's Gaia's Cradle.
Oh, he's a Gaia's Cradle?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's a card that exists because you got to be able to have 3 Gaia's Cradles in your deck, Ryan.
Yes.
That's how it is. CCO Nation, that's the thing. You need to have at least 3 in your deck or you're not ramping hard enough.
Yes.
You have 3 of them and a Nyx Bloom Ancient. That's what you need. You need hundreds of mana every turn because green just doesn't make enough. I'm definitely going to play this card.
Yeah, this is going to definitely be a staple. It's already $20.
Yeah.
Yeah. And artist on there, Sam Gay. Mother is Rebecca Gay.
Oh,
That's
cool.
that's like keeping it in the family. All the
Oh, that's neat as hell.
yeah. That's I think that's the first like parent-child artist combo in Magic.
Oh, that's fun.
That's pretty cool.
I like that
And their
lots.
art style is very the same or very similar, but Sam's is a little bit more line worky than Rebecca's. I think it's cool. I think that's just a cool thing to note.
Another cool thing to note.
Yes.
Usually I'll point out 1 or 2 arts as we go along.
Sure.
I want to point out my favorite, not main centerpiece in an art ever in the history of Magic.
Here it comes.
Eliwick Tumblestrum. I love that frog. That frog.
On her shoulder?
Yeah, that frog, pardon the pun, just jumped right out at me when I saw him. I was like, I love that frog. I want to know everything about that frog.
He's got the biggest smile on his face.
I want that frog to have his own card. I want that card to have his own expansion.
You know what's funny? You know what's even funnier about that frog? And you'll laugh so hard when you see him. He looks like my neighbor's dog. He looks like my neighbor's dog named Wrigley, who always comes over to my house.
Nice.
And I call him, Wrigley, you fucking bastard. What are you doing here? Eating my garbage?
I just want the card itself is also cool. It's a dungeon spelunking card. It gets you creatures, makes your creatures big for every dungeon you've completed. She's cool, but
Yeah. I want to fucking splunk some dungeons, that's for sure.
I want to talk about that frog is the main thing. Speaking of frogs, you have Froghemoth.
Yep.
I like Froghemoth.
Oh, you got to check out CCO's top 5 and 5 without giving any away.
Oh yeah, I suppose. But Froghemoth is good. We'll leave it at that for now. What about Instrument of the Bards? You like Instrument of the Bards? I think this is not an amazing card, but I think it's cool.
Can't even find that dang ass card.
I'll tell you what it does.
Oh, there it is. It's got like 17 lines of text on it. I'm just all the way out, except for that little rabbit sitting on that pig's head.
I'm going to hit you with it anyway.
Sure.
Green. At the beginning of your upkeep, you may put a harmony counter on Instrument of the Bards. Then, green, 3, tap, search your library for a creature card with mana value equal to the number of harmony counters on it, and reveal it, put it into your hand. Create a treasure token, shuffle your library.
That's Yisan Wanderer Bard?
Sort of, yeah.
Yeah, it kind of does the same thing, right? Except it's an artifact, so you kind of... Well, it's still green. It's got to go in whatever.
Yeah, but
I like how each animal that you look at is just like just a little bit bigger and a little bit bigger, all the way up to a bear, which is a 2/2 in Magic. So
yeah,
I don't know.
I think are boars 3/3s?
Maybe.
I think they might be.
I don't know.
Oh, funny flavor text.
Sure.
Because sometimes there was a time many moons ago, and I think I've defunct your theory on Magic cards are never just intentionally meant to be hilarious. Lurking Roper's flavor text. I want you to give that a read, Ryan.
Lurking Roper. You see, stalactites grow down. What the fuck does this even say? I almost read stalactites.
You see, stalactites grow down from the ceiling, while stalagmites reach... That's what it says.
Oh, sorry. I just totally ruined your punchline.
The point is that's hilarious.
Oh.
And it's funny watching a stalactite eat a guy.
Yes.
Scaled Herbalist. People pass over these lots, and if you're a foil hunter or a collector, this is a card that'll be worth a couple of bucks in a few years because it's never going to get reprinted. Just like Walking Atlas, just like that snake. I think there was an elf that got reprinted that does this too. It's a 1/3 for 2, tap it, put a land from your hand into play.
Yeah, the only one that's worth money is from Kamigawa, and it's because it's a 1-drop, not a 2-drop.
Yeah. Cards like that aren't uncommon, but I mean, they're cool. And if you're not going to go out and drop all the money on an exploration or something, I think it's a standy-any thing.
I get you. How about this? Let's move on to the multicolored. There's a ton of 2-color class cards. A lot of them, or all of them. You said there's 12?
I think there's 12, yeah.
All worth a look in decks that are the colors that could play them.
Mm-hmm.
Just look at them and look at their first and second mode, and probably they're worth it if your deck does that kind of thing. But I don't think we're going to read all 12. I think they're all interesting. They all have some marginal thing for a lot of mana, and like mode 3 is fine, but I think you play them for mode 1 and mode 2, and I think that you'll find use in most of them.
Agreed.
Did I hit it?
I think so.
Did I do it?
I think you did. What about Skeletal Swarming?
Skeletal Swarming, or skeletal, as some people will say. This is an enchantment. Green, black, 3. Each skeleton you control has Trampski. Attacks each combat if able, and gets +X/+O, where X is the number of other skeletons you control. That is coat of arm bones. That's coat of humori. Humeruses. That's coat of radius and ulna. Those are all bones of your arm.
Yeah, I broke my radius one time.
Okay. At the beginning of your end step, create a tapped 1/1 black skeleton creature token. If a creature died this turn, create 2 of those tokens instead.
I like that.
Ooh.
There's lots of flavor there with like the Endless Ranks of the Dead, which is another card, but this is better than Endless Ranks of the Dead. So play this instead if you have green in your deck. This is cool. I like this one.
Okay. Arties.
The deck of many things, Ryan. The deck of many things. This card is awesome.
This is a real D&D thing too, right?
Yes.
And like there is, I want to say, I think I know this. Deck of many things is something you can like ask your DM about, and you can like draw 1 card from the deck ever. Is that a thing?
Yeah.
And it could be good or it could be bad.
Yeah.
Or it could just be like, eh.
Yeah.
It could be like, oh, gain 2 life.
Yeah. It could be that token that you use to indicate you passed the turn in VDH was just given the finger. It could be one of those.
Yes.
Yeah.
But it could be like
gain 5 levels.
Or it could be
Drop dead.
This dragon or this demon follows you around forever, and you have to do its bidding.
Yeah.
Or else it's gonna like scratch your back.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I
Deck
do-
of Many Things is amazing. I love this card. I like everything about it. I'm going to talk about it.
Give it a read.
Legendary Artifact. 4/5. 2, tap, roll a d20, and subtract the number of cards in your hand. Those are one of those modifiers we're talking about.
Yeah.
If the result is 0 or less, discard your hand. Oh, shit.
Ooh, so if you have a big hand and roll a small number, you fucked.
That's right.
Okay.
You just won with nothing to yourself for more mana.
Ooh.
If the result is a 1 to 9, you return a card at random from your graveyard to your hand. If the result is 10 to 19, you draw 2 cards. If the result is 20, you put a creature card from any graveyard into play under your control. When that creature dies, its owner loses the game. Thanks for the Steve, douchebag. I'm going to get myself a basic land. Die.
Yes.
The Deck of Many Things.
Or if you have the best creature in your graveyard that's going to win you the game, you get your own dang-ass creature back.
Oh, yeah. High risk, high reward magic.
That's what I'd like to do. I'm going to play the best creatures. Yeah, I like it. You've got a 5% chance to hit a 20, right?
Sure.
And you've got, like, let's say a 45 whatever percent chance to draw 2 cards. 40 whatever percent chance, 42.5% chance, whatever, to return a card at random from your graveyard.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Depending on how many cards you have in your hand. I just love cards that just, the variance and how all of the modes are at least interesting. I think that's really cool.
Yes. Speaking of interesting, D-Map. That is Dungeon Map. A 3-drop mana rock, so everybody's going to hate on CCO because they still play 3-drop mana rocks.
Yeah, get bent.
Yeah, this might go in my Planeswalker Cascade Super Friends deck.
I'm playing with this one just to kind of play it.
To venture into dungeons, to V into the D.
The benefit of playing your 3-drop mana rock is you have 3 tap, venture into the dungeon, activate only as a sorcery.
And
so yeah, sorcery speed. But
yeah, and remember that first time you do that is going to gain you a life, scry you 1, or each player loses a life.
yeah.
Right? So, I don't know, you could create a treasure token the next time and it kind of discounts that. And
There are turns where you just have extra mana and no interaction, and you don't care if people know that. So just
tap out and
do
say,
it,
I'm just
right?
going to V into the D.
yeah. Like,
Okay.
I think that's perfectly acceptable. I think it's a cool card. I'm looking forward to playing with it.
Okay. What about 50 feet of rope?
Staple of all D&D
Oh,
campaigns.
yeah. Staple of the fucking back of my truck. Just alongside that hand of Vecna, just in case I need an extra hand to help fucking pull some rope.
Man, if I had a gold piece
Oh,
for
man.
every random villager I hung upside down from a tree with my 50 feet of rope, I would have several gold pieces. I was a bastard for my DM. He hated me.
Man.
50 feet of rope is an artifact for 1. It has climb over, which is tap, target wall, can't block this turn. Whatever. Tie up. 3, tap. Target creature doesn't untap during its controller's next untap step. And repel down. 4, tap. Venture into the dungeon.
Oh, yeah. So venture into the dungeon's worth 3 if it's by itself and 4 if it's repeatable, like with a different, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, 3 or 4 to venture into a dungeon. I don't know. It starts to get good. I guess that's why they cast it or cost it at 3 or 4 instead of just like 1 like Scry would normally be at, right?
There are lots of other cards that I in particular would like to talk about, but it's going to be in the deck that we put in, so we can hit them all then. So we're going to jump over like a couple of other cards, including Treasure Chest, which I know people
cards I think, and you haven't told me, but I think that are like specific to die rolling.
Maybe.
Okay.
Maybe. And we'll talk about a couple of lands.
Well, yeah, let's peep the lands right now because they're cool. And correct me if I'm wrong. Cave of the Frost Dragon, Den of Bugbear. There's Hive of the Eye Tyrant, Hall of Storm Giants, Temple of the Dragon Queen, and Lair of the Hydra. Those are the book cover showcase cards, right?
And Evolving Wilds.
Oh, and Evolving Wilds.
Evolving Wilds
of
also,
course.
'cause
Evolving Wilds.
Why
Yeah.
don't they print Terramorphic Expanse anymore?
I don't know.
Like, why is it always Evolving Wilds?
I don't know.
You always get Evolving Wilds, no Terramorphic Expanse.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe they're trying to corner the market or something. I don't know.
Maybe, yeah.
All of those cards, except for Evolving Wilds and Temple of the Dragon Queen, are actually creature lands.
Yep.
They turn into creatures, and they enter the battlefield untapped if you have like less than...
They're fast lands. Like
Yeah. Yeah. If you got, like, if it's your first land, it's untapped. But if it's like your fifth land, it's tapped.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Do you like them? I suppose if you're going to play like goblins, you would play Den of the Bugbear in your goblin deck.
I think Den of the Bugbear is pretty good. I like Hall of the Storm Giants.
Because it becomes a 7/7.
Yeah, with Ward 3, so it kind of protects itself so somebody can't terror your land easily. That's pretty cool.
That's a gooder.
I think Lair of the Hydra is fun, because it's not like green can make big mana to take advantage of a thing that turns into an XX.
And then Temple of the Dragon Queen is actually like a Cavern of Souls, but just for dragons, right?
Yes.
Sort of. You choose a color, so whatever color you need, right?
Yeah, which is neat.
That's cool. And of course, Treasure Vault. I mean, tune into a future piece of CCO content to find out more.
I just thought of something with Treasure Vault.
What is it?
And you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't know if there's a lot of lands that you can just sack.
Like themselves?
Yeah. You just... I don't know if you're, like, except for Titania, I don't know what other cards really care about that.
You mean just sack because you can put 0 into X and create 0 treasure tokens?
You can just tap and sack Treasure Vault. That's an artifact and a land going to your graveyard. And that ain't nothing. There's lots of decks that you can abuse that a little bit. Like, you know what I'm saying?
It taps for a colorless. It's an artifact land. It goes X, tap, sacrifice Treasure Vault, create X treasure token. So you're trading 2 mana for 2 treasures. Sorry, 2 mana for 1 treasure.
Yeah.
You're cutting yourself down on mana, but you can save it up for later, or maybe treasure matters. There's lots of stuff in this set that says if you paid with a treasure.
Yeah.
Right? Or if you want to build up for a big mana turn next turn. But what you're saying is 0, sacrifice, create 0 treasure tokens, and if you've got like 4 or 5 play extra land things, and a Crucible of Worlds or a Ramanap Excavator.
Yeah.
Bang, 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 bang. Tack, sap, tack, sap, tack.
Yeah.
Cool.
Like, and I don't know if that's a thing that really matters at this point, but maybe in the future that's going to be something that matters. We've always talked. We've had the conversation lots of times.
I think that it does. Well, do you play Ramanap Excavator or Crucible of Worlds in your Omnath deck?
Of course I do.
And Titania?
Yeah.
And she makes elementals, and Omnath cares about all those things.
Yeah.
This card could go in there.
Oh, this card's definitely.
And if you've got 3 or 4 of those extra land things, that's like bang, 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 bang.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like it's a pretty cool land, and like we always talked about before, if there was a creature that just said sacrifice this creature, people would play that creature.
I think that they would.
And now we have a land that just says sacrifice this land.
That's a good take,
right? I think that's cool, and I think that it's maybe overlooked.
Huh? Cool. Not overlooked, as we are want to never overlook, are the basics, the art. This time, I'll let you focus on the flavor texts. Have you read them all? First basics ever with flavor text.
I have read them all. I didn't recognize all of them. I recognized some of them.
Yeah.
I really do like the flavor text on here because we always say the basics tell a story.
Yes.
And we try and figure out the story.
Or they build more of the story that we have heard, or the portion that we have heard, they expand upon it. Like the World Tree and like the Kaldheim art and stuff, right?
But instead of doing that this time, they just fucking tell us. We have the
They just tell us.
We have the plains that's Icewind Dale. We have another one that's underneath the Anarok Desert. We've got the Sword Coast. We've got, what else do we have in here? We've got
some sailboats.
We've got the Underdark. We've got the Spine of the World Mountains. We've got the Undermountain. We've got the Neverwinter Wood.
Wow.
Lots of just cool places in Dungeons and Dragons that are just represented on basic land cards. And one of them being the mountain number 275.
Mm-hmm.
It's I think that might be one of my favorite mountains.
That's a good looking mountain.
I really like it. I like the hand paintedness. I like how it looks kind of like the sun is sort of behind the mountains and it's setting. So like one side of it's really bright and kind of cheerful and the other side is kind of dark and forbidding. I like that. I like that art. And it's cooler if you had a bunch of them, you could put them all up beside each other and they look like a big mountain range.
Look like a dragon spine.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. I like how a bunch of them feel and look like they're ripped directly out of fucking Lord of the Rings. But, neither here nor there. We're going to go there in due time.
Yeah. Is Lord of the Rings like the next... Is it going to be like a core set one like this is? Or is
I don't know. We don't know yet. We don't know yet. We don't know yet. But
if somebody knows, it's got the inside track, you'd let us know.
Yeah, they'd lose their job if they told us.
Well, we just won't tell them they told us. It's fine.
Yeah, that's fine. I do like these basics. I like that at least, I'm going to say at least 2 of them look like they could be places that are around here. The third plains with like the rocks, and it's like I was going to say a fucking plains, but it's plains. And the one forest with the pine trees.
Yeah?
Yep, looks like it could
where
be
we are.
here, yeah. What else we got here, though? We got Zariel, Akru, Abukaki, somebody with chains. Her borderless planeswalker art, very cool. Very 1999, 1997 Spawn with that chain that goes straight like that when it turns. Very cool.
That's very neat. Also, I want to point out Eliwick, borderless art. There's that frog.
Oh, he must be somebody.
There he is, right? He's right there. No other animals made the cut, but fucking that frog sure did.
Some fairies or something did.
With the other art, though.
And a rabbit.
That rabbit can fuck right off. That frog is the man.
Why does she got a Yu-Gi-Oh card on the top of her guitar? Is that a thing?
That's probably the frog's thing. The frog just put that there, and she's afraid to move it.
Frog plays Yu-Gi-Oh?
Maybe.
Maybe it's a trap card. Oh, man. We're going back to Zendikar. Trap card. Yeah. Okay, last one. Our alternate art borderless cards. These are alternate art. They're the ones with like the darker looking frames. I want that red dragon, man.
Oh, that red dragon is cool.
I fucking want them.
Inferno with the Star Mountains is really cool, too.
All of these dragons
are so cool.
Cool, man. These could be posters on your wall.
Every one of them. Man, last card we're going to talk about. Do you know what it is based on my tone of voice?
No.
Adult Gold Dragon. What the hell? We have all these bad... Do you know what Gold Dragon... They breathe fucking lasers. Man.
And this is a grown-up one.
And this is a grown-up one. And you know... Bahamut carries these around on his shirt to protect him because they're the most badass of dragons after him.
Oh, man.
Because they have flying and lifelink and haste and they're 4/3s for 5. What the hell?
Adult Gold Dragon can pull beer from the fucking liquor store for kid Gold Dragon.
And that's the only thing that it's got going for it.
Adult Gold Dragon can go into casinos and adult-only video stores. Yes. Oh, man.
What's even the point? Why even tease us like that?
I don't know. Adult Gold Dragon can go into the cannabis shop if you have those in your country or state.
They put one metallic dragon in the whole set, and they turned the platinum one into a dude and the gold one into a half a piece of crap, man. Watch, it's going to turn into a standard breaking card. It's going to get banned. But the point is, right now, as I sit here, that card is just shitty.
It feels a lot like Mantis Rider. Look at those stats, man. It's 5 mana, 4/3 flying, lifelink, haste. That's sort of like fucking Mantis Rider. Sort of like a, and don't crucify me online unless it's on YouTube, sort of like a Baneslayer Angel that can buy beer.
Man, let's cut it off there, man. That's the...
I've been knocking you down pegs all day. Can I just give me that one? That's the high to leave on, because we've already talked about the showcases. They're great. You're scrolling through them. F the borderless cards. Buy altars on our Facebook page instead. Hit our theme song.
After we say big thanks to Fusion Gaming Online. They are our business daddies and help us bring great content to you for your ear holes and your eye holes and every other hole that you could possibly have us in.
Your adult dragon hole.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you could... No, I wouldn't Google that one if you know what a dragon is.
Oh, yeah.
Continue.
Yeah,
Continue.
We were thinking about different things, but now we're on the level. The point is, we are going to be back next week to talk about some Commander decks from the Forgotten Realms on the next episode of Commander Cookout Podcast. Hit our theme songs!